it like growing up?
Um, it was kind of difficult because um, my father was he was married, but I had brothers, but I never really knew them. I knew one of them, but you know that was really kind of odd. Yeah, and it it was just kind of difficult because you're one place and then your father's somewhere else. So it was kind of like really difficult to be in that. Another thing what made it growing up was difficult was being in an accident, a severe head trauma. So it was really kind of difficult in high school and middle school. So I was just always trying to, always working harder than usual. So that was kind of like growing up. So it wasn't no grandparents, there was no father figure, brother figure. So it was just simply me and music. My mother and stepfather came into the picture, and they would leave all the time, you know. So they would leave me at the house, and they would go uh, out of town. So it was just really difficult. So a lot of times it was just me and music.
What was it? When did you first start liking music? Like, when did you find out you wanted to do music?
Where I wanted to do music. Well, I originally started off as a rapper and converted into um, music. But I was at a Prince concert, not really a concert, but it was the movie. And Prince was like, everybody liked this song, Raise Your Hand in the Air. And I was with my cousin, James Jr. And this was a movie theater, and people, responded to Prince like he was there. And Prince said, "Everybody like this song, hold your hand in the air," and everybody just in the crowd was just holding their hand up, and I'm looking like it was the magic and the wonder of wow. It was like this man is not at the theater, but his spirit is in the theater, and that's when I thought that yeah, I wanted to do music. I can do this. Yeah, I wanted to do this.
How old was you when you made your first song?
Ooh, wow, wow. Oh, my first song that was in like 97. Like I said, I converted from hip hop to into R&B. It was called um, what was it called? Um, my first. And it was about my first love because you had to understand my travels because it was like I didn't have anybody around my own age. Everybody had their own sibling. Everybody they had somebody, but it was me always feeling alone. And music and my love, my first love, and she came into the picture, and it was a song about her and my experience. I hadn't seen her in many different years, so that was my first.
What's the process of writing and coming up with a great song?
Okay, I got two different process. I have one where I have the song inside of my head. I can hear instruments and the bass and the treble. That's one instinct. And then I go to Mr. Malagan Beats, and uh, he will just basically put chords around what I'm singing. So that's another one. The other one is there's this app called Fiber. I was on there looking for, different people who make logos, but I found that there was a music section. I'm like, a music section, okay, okay. And then later on, I was like, listening to some music, and the guy, because he was into what I was doing, but he was like, how do I have to put it into letting people know that I can't read or write music, but I know what I know. So I went on there, and there was guitar players, there was bass players, there was drummers. So with that app, the whole nother world just freed open into me. I was what was I? It wasn't any limitation. So once I got into the app, and there was amplified guitar players, acoustic guitar players. Some of them as low as $40. So that was a situation right there. That was like a beautiful thing. A whole world opened up to me.
Growing up, who was your biggest influence? Like, how was it growing up?
Hmm. It would have to be like Prince and Lenny Kravitz. Prince because he was one of the original guys that the black guys that were doing something different. Uh, Before my time, there was Sly Stone, there was Prince, there was Lenny Kravitz, and he somehow, some way, he got on BET. And the day that I seen, it, I was like sitting on the floor, and it was he was just taking control. There was no compromise. He didn't compromise the soul. He didn't compromise the rock, and it was just like, this this is amazing.
What would you call your style of music? It's just not hip hop. It's just not R&B. It's like a mix of different cultures. What would you call that?
I call it mixed musical arts, or AKA mulatto music, because a lot of people it's mixed. It's like it could be um, Indian music and R&B. It can be blues and funk. It was always a hybrid. I think that's where um, people our society is going with music, because you got people intermarrying, you got people doing this and doing that, and it was really like a hybrid sound, you know. So something that mulatto music is good. Whatever Bruce Lee did with Jeet Kune Do, I pretty much did it with music.
I like that. I like that. So, can you explain mulatto music?
Hmm. Well,
Because some of us might not know what
yeah.
mulatto music is, but I like that term because it fits you very well. So, what is mulatto music in your words?
Oh, that's gonna be. I was listening to Will Smith
Mm,
doing a interview. He said when he went into that transfer over into movies, he looked up what was the highest grossing movies, and what did they have in common. What they had in common, they were all sci-fi. They were all had to do with monsters and stuff like that. So when he set his career onto those type of movies. So that's one thing. Number two, what it was is a little bit of this and a little bit of that. Uh, so that's kind of like what mulatto music is, really taking this and that and mixing it with this and that. So it gives you the highest probability of success. I wonder, how did Michael Jackson win so many awards in one night? One was in the R&B crowd, one was in the rock, one was in the pop, and one was in it. They were in multiple categories, so it just made sense.
What was what was some of the challenges that you had to deal with growing up? I know you said you got in a bad car accident, but did that play any role in your music talents,
Um,
or did it harm it in any way?
I guess it played a way in my musical talents because I couldn't read or write music, but I could hear things inside of my head. Uh, because I have a short term problem with memory, but it gives me a long term memory advance, I guess, or something like that. But yeah, it was really difficult because I can remember things for a long time.
What's something that was a challenge for you doing music? Like what's something that most artists or writers that they experience? What is a challenge overcoming writing and performing a product that you wrote?
Hmm. Uh, I think on the song "Tonight Is the Night," getting musicians to open their mind to hearing a sound you never heard before, um, getting them to hear it inside of their head before they heard it with their ears. Um, it was just really opening people's minds of what if we broke all the rules? You can break all the rules, but respect the laws of music. So when that happened, people started doing things like it was R&B track, but he put rock guitars to it. He originally didn't think, oh man, this is not gonna work out. It was like it's not gonna work out as long as you open your mind to it. And when he sent it back, he was like, okay, well maybe it did. So it's getting people to listen to a sound that is half rock, half mulatto music for as this and that. So that was really the difficult thing, and then people to hear what's inside of my mind. You need a certain type of person like Mr. Melodic. He would sit down at the piano and he would be like, I would start with these type of chord with jazz chords, and then I would go into pop rock type of stuff. So, so the first thing was I used to feel so sad and blue, but now I feel so brand new since you came into my life. And he was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Nobody would start with jazz chords and then go into contemporary pop type stuff. But, at the end of the day, he was like, you know, I can do it. Just give me a second. He said, but because you haven't went to school for this, you would start a song with jazz chords and finish it. You wouldn't start with jazz chords and then go into contemporary rock or pop halfway through the song.
Correct. So, okay, growing up, a lot of us deal with trauma and
Hmm.
anything. Did you have to deal with any trauma growing up that it might have could have railroaded you to a different lifestyle?
Mm. Um, I broke my leg. I would have to say that was like the big thing. When I got into a wheelchair, I had to have surgery. I had a plate put in here, a rod put in there. Um, it was just it was a different way of life, learning how to walk all over again, you know, and having someone to help you to the bathroom and things of that nature. But there was a lot of gangs and stuff like that and crime to get into, but it was just always me and music. It was just me and music, because sometimes my mother would, once every, season, they would go out of town. They would leave me at the house. I had an uncle Roosevelt. He was a DJ, uh, and when he passed, he left a lot of his records to me. So there was crime and stuff like that. I remember coming home from school, and there was a dead body across the street. Where I come from is the Jeffries Projects, and how it would just astonish me how people was like, "Oh well, he's dead," you know. That was one thing, and then another thing, the people who were there, cause saving him and checking his heartbeat. My mother went over there and they was robbing him, checking his pockets and shit like that. So I'm like, damn, that's a human life. So it was just different.
If you had a couple chances to work with any artist or any band group, who would you work with?
Hmm. Oh, oh wow. A lot of the people that I listen to are really old. So I would definitely have Jabbo and Jabbo on the drums, or uh, what is his name? What is his? Yeah, I would probably have Jabbo or something like that on the drums. I would have a rock guitarist. I would have a rhythm guitarist and stuff like that. But most of the people that I listen to are usually deceased or old. So Bernard Purdy is another person who I really looked up. Uh, it's a guy named Chuck. He's still alive. He's the guy who did the bass line to Rock Steady, baby. And that's what it feels like. But a lot of this stuff is just kind of really old. So it's like the old that meets the new. And a lot of people are not doing the type of music that I'm doing now.
Correct. That's very a fact. What is one of your favorite songs that you have made?
Mm, I'm in love.
And okay, can you tell us about I'm in Love?
Uh, that was maybe what the first or second song that I produced on my own.
Mm.
Yeah. So once again with Fiber, I sent it in with the guy. He sent back the African, it's like a little thumb player, and I sent it back, and he came with the foundation, kind of like a car, the foundation of the car. I wanted to be in love so bad that I named the song "In Love" and just talked about certain things that I wanted from love. Then I had a Spanish person to put the guitars on there. I put the vocals on there, and hey, I'm in love.
Then she loves me all night long. I'm in love. Oh, I'm in love. I'm in love. I'm in love.
What advice can you give somebody that's trying to find their style and trying to be happy when they do their own music?
I can tell you this story.
Okay.
I go over a guy's house, and he told me to listen to some kids. It's like, what is this? And they're naming off this and that. I couldn't understand what they were talking about. So he said, yeah, I stopped them. They had, he said, how much money you have in your pocket? Uh, the young guy says, I ain't got no money in my pocket. He said, why you ain't got no money in your pocket? Because I don't have a job. He said, why don't you have a job? For about 3 or 4 various reasons. And it's those 3 or 4 various reasons what you need to be talking about on a record. That's what you really need to be talking about. Like love has been away from me because I didn't have, uh, my father's love. I didn't have my grandfather's love. All of those things. That's why most of my songs are basically about love, wanting to be loved. So if you stick to those 3 or 4 things that's nagging you the most, that's something that you need to be rapping about or singing about.
What makes what makes a good song? What makes a great song?
Good content. You got to have a subject. Once you uh, stick to the who, what, when, where, and why. There's a song I have called "Tell Me Why." The fellas came pick me up around 8. That's when it happened. They said, Dave, you kind of thing out real late. I stepped in the club. Well, you know where it's at. You keep to your who, what, when, where, and why, and how. Why are we listening to it? Who is this song about? That's how I do things. For is how do you write a song?
All right, Dave. I know you a little bit. I know you. I do your videos. So, working with you has been amazing. To know more about you while we've been working and growing our relationship. You told me you got in an accident. You had some head trauma, and most people that deal with head trauma don't bounce back. A lot
Yeah.
of them don't, or they can't even read, write, or even make music as great as you do. So, can you please tell us this story and tell us how your head trauma and you just grew together and still make masterpiece music?
There was this kid named Jerome. Jerome was my mother's first stepson. He got jealous of his father because I was lighter skinned. So he pushed me one side. This is what I remember. He pushed me and he fell and I fell to the side and I hit my head on the curve. Now, that's the story that I remember. I took an IQ test. They said, no, you were hit from the right side, then you failed and hit your head on the curve. She said, because you have what do you have? You scored high on both sides of the brain, which is unusual. Uh, and that was really my head. That was really a big thing. And then when he hit me, my head and my face swelled up 2 times normal. It's original size. So I would have headaches. I would have nightmares. It was just brain freezes and stuff like that. But the young lady who gave me the IQ test, she texted me. Well, she wasn't helping me. She was a college student, and she helped me. And then she called me. I'm like, okay, hell, well, I didn't get the message, but when she called me, she was like, "Are you aware how high you scored in some of this IQ test?" Well, I actually forgot to ask them what was my IQ because it was just a simple fact that I was having problems with a test, and nobody never helped me. So I was like, well, I began to think like, well, shit, what really is my IQ? I called my counselor. And she came up with a bunch of million excuses, and she just said that we don't have the test results from back when. I wanted her to get the psychologist. They gave me the test, but then she told me now he's retired. So I'm like, well, damn, it's like, what is my IQ? And it was like, well, people want to know, how do you know music? Because you've only, taken, maybe a class or this or that, but I feel music inside of my heart. I hear it inside of my head. And, he's one guy told me, he said, you have to go to school. People have to go to school to do things that you are doing naturally. So it's been a time. It's been a time.
Who's one of your first supporters, like nonstop? Like, no, I believe in this, or I'm rocking with you.
Hmm. I think it was like my cousin Doug, my cousin Marshall, and Michelle had just been holding me down because she's kind of like a play cousin that's kind of like a sister because we're both the only child. So certain things I couldn't talk to other people in the family that I could talk to her about. So I was very appreciative of that, and yeah.
You and your father's child kids, growing up with them, how was that? Were you close to them? Were you close to your dad a lot? How was it?
I'm gonna say it like this. I seen him by accident a year before. Well, maybe 2 years before. Um, I didn't grow up with my brothers, so there's a lot of stuff I had to learn right then and there. You know, so I asked my brother. My father seen me, then he smiled, and all of that type
Yeah,
of
yeah,
stuff.
he is.
But my father said this. Well, my brother said this. He doesn't want to see you. He doesn't want to get to know you. He just simply wants to go on with his life. And he said, David, it's about time you went on with your life because you got to live your life for you. Uh, that was hard to deal with. That this relationship is never going to be, I guess, something like a sperm donor. Um, but yeah, that was tough. I mean, he don't want to see you. He don't want to get to know you. He don't want to hang out with you. He don't want to do nothing that. He said, David, I don't know why he's not doing the right thing, and he said that I don't know why he's treating you like this. But a lot of people look at him as he was a father figure to them. So a lot of people find it weird. Like the big question is, why is he doing this to you? But I have to buckle up and go on with my life.
Did you have any resentment towards your father or brothers because of that?
Yeah, yeah, it was jealousy. Why couldn't I be one of those brothers? And then one of my third brother, the third person who was introduced me as my third brother, comes not to be my brother.
Oh shit.
So you have it in your heart to love somebody else's child and give them your last name and adopt them, but you didn't love your own son. And I look more like him than they do. I look more like him. And then I found out about I was part Latino. I always wanted to, I always felt that, like when the Latin invasion came in, Telemundo and stuff like that, I would just sit. I knew, but I didn't know. I would just sit there and watch. It's like they were, talking in their language. And my stepfather came and told me, he said, David, I was like, yeah, do you understand what they're saying? I said, I don't know, man, but it's like I'm drawn to this. I don't know, but I know. Uh, it was just kind of weird because before I asked one of my uncles, I was like, "What do we mix with?" And he was like, "Cuban." And the thing is, like, Cuban is like a mixed race, so it's black, it's white, it's Spanish, it's Asian. So yeah, you can see that in my face. So that was really something. All of us have like slanted eyes, so that's how you can tell. Because if my brothers came into this room, you would be totally confused. You wouldn't even know one was this and that. But I look different. I am different. I had a song, uh, "Kiss the Sun." It would always be the sun that the father didn't want that would always shine the brightest. Uh, you know, I'm the least in my father's house. I'm the son that they don't talk about. I'm the brother that the brothers left for dead. I'm the brother, and it's kind of like that. So it's really difficult to have to let that go. That your brothers, your relationship with your grandfather. It's been a while. It's been a hurtful um, journey.
Move past your brothers and father, and now you getting in your bag. Who was motivating you as an artist or as somebody that you looked up to? What gave you that? Like, man, if they did it, I know I can do it.
Hmm. I was thinking about legacy. I was thinking about, what will my children think, that their grandfather was alive, or just legacy, period. I wanted all of my songs to be heard. I just didn't want the music to die with me. Uh, I have a couple of more songs that I have to do. Um, but yeah, that what kept me going. That I don't want to die with the music inside of me. Somehow, some way, somebody's going to hear this music, and this is going to be the wave of the future. Cause we're into marrying. Uh, I mean, okay, well, just look at this. Um, you have hip hop, and then you have Afro beats. That's right up my alley. You have what do you call Afro beats with hip hop. Those are hybrids. Just like what is it? The reggaeton. Man, I heard that shit long time ago because I used to live with not live with them, but I would work with some Puerto Ricans and Dominicans and stuff like that. I always felt like it was a connection between me and Latinos, but so when I found out I was part Latino, that made sense. But with reggaeton, you take the reggae, then you get the thong, you speak it in Spanish and you just speed it up. So that's hybrid. This is where this world, this music, mulatto music or mixed musical arts, this is where the future is headed.
Mm, that's a fact. A lot of music is where the future is headed. So, if you can explain to us what was what was a song that you felt like it wasn't it and turned out to be everybody end up loving it.
Um, hmm, everybody, just talking about my life,
Mm,
just talking about my life and his my thing with Kiss the Sun. Kiss the Sun. It was like, you know, it it's the sun that the father didn't want that would always shine the brightest. Um, just being able to take a song like that and then have it people enjoy it too.
so you said something earlier about Bruce Lee and how he got all the move, got his type of style of fighting. Do you want to go? Can you go deeper into that?
I wanted to go into that. It's like Bruce Lee was part white. His mother was half white. So nobody who wanted to work with him because he was not a full-blooded Chinese. So you see pictures of Bruce Lee um, in the dojo, but it's only one or two people. And Bruce Lee wanted. He didn't have a degree in karate. He took what I'm doing with mixed musical arts. I take a piece of this, I take a piece of that. I take what is the essence, the essence of these styles, and you make my own style. It's not this or that. He just made his own thing. So it's kind of like, Dr. Savy, he didn't have that, but he created his own style. Uh, and that's where I think the future of music is going, and everything that he did. What is the essence of Jeet Kune Do? What is the essence? This may be the essence of Hapkido. This may be the essence of this and that. And you just take it and modify it to fit you. And that's what I did. But I take it and I put it on crack because each song is different from the next, and it's purposely done to for you to listen to that album and be entertained and not get bored. Because I think a lot of hip hop stuff has really hindered R&B, because back in the day it had to fit into that timing or that pocket. Whether it's in the pocket or out the pocket, I want that romance. I want that passion. And it's kind of hurtful that R&B had to suffer so that hip hop could live.
So, what do you think is the problem with hip hop right now?
Um, they don't have as many bars as they used to. So the song now is 2 minutes long because they don't have enough bars to do that. Uh, what is going on with hip hop? Well, you take hip hop and then you got hip hop R&B, and then you have R&B, because they're similar but they're totally different. You know, people are trying too hard to do much. Everybody wants to be Prince. Everybody wants to be Stevie Wonder. They want to do this, that, this, another. When maybe you need to get some R&B bass line. Somebody somewhere you should have brung another bass line and not just put your bass line. Uh, in that, the passion is gone. It's not as emotional. The begging, the expression of soulfulness is not there anymore. And everybody wants to lay claim. Oh, I did this, so I can say I did this, and I did that, and I did this, uh, by myself. People are taking too much pride in saying I did all of this when they really didn't. Even Prince, at a point in time, uh, the majority of it he did it, yeah. But there's a point where Morris Day left. Uh, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis. After all of those five, or Jesse Johnson, they left. After they left, Prince's sound did not sound the same. He had inspiration through other people. Now, what he would do would play one thing. A person would play one thing, and he could play something similar to it. Once they left, it didn't sound the same no more. It sounded plastic.
What is your end goal? What is your goal with this music? What is one of your missions with doing the music?
Our mission statement is we mix different styles together so that we can bring different types of people together.
15 minutes.
Yeah, so that's what we try to do, and bring it to the people. I want to bring it on a platform of real music, genuinely playing and letting the people bringing real R&B back. I want the R&B players. I want to have a mix musical art. I wanted to have the band to be multiracial or multi ethnic or multi-sexual. Like Prince had girls on there. Then Lenny Kravitz came and he had a female drummer. Um, I want to do things like that, like from Sly Stone, Prince, Lenny Kravitz. There's a big gap. No one else of the younger generation has came to put to fulfill that gap. I was sitting in the car talking to my brother, and he was like, he said, when you're doing all of this style and funk, but don't forget to put rock into the music. I said, oh yeah, 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 yeah. I got some rock. It's called I Want to Rock Your World. He was like, no, put that in all your music. And I looked out the window and I said, how am I gonna sell that? He said it's going to give you a wider audience. To have the most wide audience. You have R&B and Latin music with "I'm in Love" and "I'm So Crazy About You." Then you're gonna have the rock songs. The purpose of this, to put it short, is to have a wide audience. That every time I do a show, it sells out immediately. That is my mission.
What are some new music or new projects that you got coming out that you want people to be paying attention to?
Uh, I have took in rock and R&B, put the hip hop to the side. I have a next project. I don't know where I'm gonna call it, but it's more so into the R&B rock type feel. That's what it's ultimately going to have the widest audience of all time. Uh, I don't know what I'm gonna call it, but the feedback that I'm getting from people, this is your best stuff. The other stuff is okay, but this soul rock type thing is is really big and powerful. I think I let you listen to some of it, uh, but when I let people listen to these songs of rock and light rock, heavy rock, um, it's just phenomenal. That one day somebody's gonna tell you King David is a genius because to put all of these things together inside of his mind without really knowing musical theory and type of stuff like that. I just go with what feels good. Where's the emotion? Where's the feeling? And sometimes the best note that you can hit is not to hit a note. That peace, that silence, sometimes, then come on back. That is the best thing ever.
How did we come up with King David Jr.?
Hmm. What do you mean?
Like, where did that name come from? Did you just like,
Oh,
no, I'm gonna just call myself King David Jr.? Like, what did you come up with King David Jr.?
oh wow. Uh, had a dream. Uh, I had one dream that I was talking to God, and when God talked to me, when He would speak, it sounded like music, and it was like, I mean, the feeling, not the sound, but that's what I was feeling. And He told me that I was one of King David's descendants, and uh, black people were from the tribe of Judah. Had this conversation many, many years ago with one of my half brothers, and we got into a big argument and didn't speak to each other, for some quite a few years. And one day he just called me, and we just started back talking and stuff. And but a guy told me this in a dream. He said, "Have you ever thought that you were David?" I said, "Yeah, but his father's name is this and my father's that." And that name, King David, always, the story of King David in the Bible, it always reminded me of myself.
That's dope.
It always reminded me of
Yeah.
myself because you have King David.
Mm-hmm.
He was the shepherd king,
Mm-hmm.
out there. And when as the story goes, he asks his father Jesse, don't you have any other son? Like he was the forgotten son in the Bible. But uh, he said, God hasn't chosen none of these men. Well, let us try the son that. Oh well, we have David, and he's a shepherd boy. Go get him, and we're gonna wait. And that's just how the King David, because I spiritually felt connected that he didn't kill King Saul, because now you're setting a a thing up that anybody can have the throne if you just killed the king, but he didn't want that. He had respect for the king, but he was his own man, and the Bible, says that, where he's the man after God's own heart.
What's the next move, and can you give us some advice on the way up?
Um, the first thing is okay. My social media is King David underscore 1865. You can find all my music on CD Baby. You can find it on all the major
Platforms.
platforms and stuff like that. We're going into the sixth album because we have five right now. I'm working on my sixth. but it's just better than usual. It's taking a form in a life of its own. It's not black or white. It's just really good music.
What's some advice that you can get to an upcoming artist right now that's trying to do new music that's not your typical African American music?
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Non-African. Yeah. That's really good. Hmm. The people. I'll say study the greats. Michael Jackson said, study the greats. Find out everything that they did, so you're not trying to reinvent the wheel. Uh, Another thing is, you want a new idea, go read an old book. Uh, it just let me see. I would tell that person to believe in themselves, believe in God, believe that there is a change. Um, I try to be in myself like a light bulb. That's how I try to be like a light bulb. And God is my electricity that powers me to shine. That's how I see that. Let Him use you and don't care about what people say, what's black, what's white, or you can't do this, you're African American, you're supposed to be doing this and that. Go what's in your heart. Everything that you listen to somebody say, like James Brown, who was the only person who survived the British invasion. Uh, just remember that you are an individual, and just how somebody had the talent to do something that no one ever did. It's the new style before the new style invades, and that's the only thing that I can tell you. That everybody who survived had been a legend. They did something no one before them has ever did. A good example, uh, Ray Charles. No one ever took gospel and soul and put it together. Uh, his understudy, what you call her, Aretha Franklin, did the same thing but a moderation. James Brown did something that no one ever did. Sam Cooke and all of those type of people. So to do something that you never did, you got to do something that you never done before.
Well, Dad, we thank you for giving your words and wisdom in your story. Again, can you shout out your social media handle? And thank you again.
Uh, King David underscore 1865.
And any video that you want them to check out right now?
You can check out
Shit, all
I'm
of
in
them.
Love, uh, Precious,
Mm,
and Dance for Me.
mm.
That was I had a really lot of fun
I
doing
had yeah,
that.
we had fun with that.
Yeah.
We had fun with that one.
Yeah. So,
Well, thank you, Dave. Y'all make sure y'all follow him. I'm gonna make sure y'all put his social media and everything right here. Any artists that want to do work with him, we put his book and email right there. Thank y'all.